I'm Brandon, and I want to welcome you to the Tansson Talks show, where our mission here is always to bring people together. I'm Brandon, the host of the show, and I always love doing this. Well, I'm excited to kick off our 2025 episodes and welcome you to my guest here today, Jeffrey. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, man. I had a long day. I was working on some music today, like I do every freaking day, and then I had a little job interview about like an hour ago, and I'm just chilling now, man. It's pretty much what's going on.
Well, awesome. I hope that your interview went well.
Yes, it went fine. I got the second one. That's all that matters.
Well, that's great to hear. And I always, love doing this show, and I'm excited to kick off this year. And so, if you're able to go ahead and introduce yourself for the watching or listening audience here today.
Yeah, so my name is Jeffrey Strother. I'm a musician that's based in Virginia. I play guitar, bass, drums. I mix, produce. I graduated from VCU, which is in Richmond, Virginia, last year. Couple things about me. You guys see the piano and the guitar in the background. I love music. Always done music. Um, I am a rapper. I am a singer. I am everything around music. And I'm also an athlete on the side. I play basketball and I wrestle. And I go to the gym a lot. And that is my life as a 22-year-old man. So that's all I do, man. That's all you guys need to know about me.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive into to all of it. And so, I definitely wanted to start off with your music. And so, you mentioned that you've been to music all of your life, but now you do singing, rapping, and of course, playing the instruments, as we can see. Yeah, aside from you. And so, what really started first, and what really motivated you to start in music?
So music didn't really start like I would say like eighth grade. Let's go take a trip back to eighth grade. Eighth grade is where one of my good friends introduced classic rock to me. That is like where it started. I couldn't tell you what I was listening to before the eighth grade. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't care about it that much. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's just like you've done it for so long, but you didn't have any care about it, and then all of a sudden this big care about it came up, and that was eighth grade. He showed me like classic rock, and then I went into high school and I did choir for 4 years. While doing that, I also did musical theater for 2 years, and near the end of my high school career, I was like, man, I'm a phony. I love music, but I cannot even pick up an instrument and I can't play it. So, my junior year, I started playing the piano, this beautiful instrument right here to my right. And I learned like songs like Pink Floyd Breathe, and I was learning like these little like licks and these like I wasn't even learning full songs. I was just messing around, man. And then I met a man named Wim Tapley. Wim Tapley is a very popular artist in Georgia, Athens now. He has been going around the East Coast and he's been freaking killing the game. He was my guitar teacher. And I picked up guitar my senior year of high school near the end of the year. And from there, you can just tell I'm very self-taught. I didn't really have mentors or teachers taking care of my musical process. I had one teacher. That was Miss Laura Lazarevich. God bless her heart. That was my choir teacher. And yeah, I go through college. I released my first single, Forget, in 2020. And I was joining a college fraternity. I'm very social, and I get along with everybody. There's not one person on this earth I can't get along with, honestly. And they loved it. I have like 2,000 streams on that song. It's the biggest song I've ever released. And yeah, man, I guess we can jump a little bit ahead of that story. I do get my guitar thing for a while, and then real life starts hitting me. right? Like I forget was like a $600 studio time session. I do not have $600. I was like 8. I was like 19 when I made that thing. So I can't. I realize that this is going to be a big financial burden. So junior year hit comes around in college. I'm like, man, screw this. I'm going to get some monitors. I'm going to get a Focusrite, and I'm going to get a couple things that I need to do this myself. And that's when my mixing and production journey started, which was 2 years ago, honestly. Not even a year and a half, maybe. So that's pretty much the story, man. That's it. And we're now here, and I have new projects I'm working on and everything like that.
First of all, that is outstanding. That even though that you have people in your life, of course, who's guide you in different motivations, that you've been largely self taught, and and are driving yourself to to make this happen. And that's incredible that you decide, well, you know what, after making the first the first album, you're like, you know what, um let's figure out a way to do this on my own. And so that's great that you Les, that were able to continue to grow and prosper in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. And so for you, like over this past year and a half, since you've gotten, like I said, the equipment to do this, on your own time and with your own equipment. So how would you say that that changed the process for you? And what did you do in the meantime between, of course, your 2020 album and then being able to get your own equipment?
Dude. I Whew, this is again. So this is a story within itself, right? Any musician you talk to, they're gonna say like big or small, big or small. They're gonna look at you and they're gonna say, "Dude, I have made some really shitty music." like that is just going to happen, right? My first album was recorded, or my first album, Julius Caesar, which was my first time producing something on my own, was recorded on a Blue Yeti microphone, like a white Blue Yeti microphone. They're like $120. They're not meant for studio recording. They they're very, they get a lot of background noise. It fucking just sucks. It's awful, man. Awful. With that, I have two, you can't see them, but I have two JBL Professionals sitting next to me. They're my studio monitors. I asked my friend who had this, like, they're like these Dell monitors that you get from like Best Buy when you buy your old PC from like 2004. It was horrible, man. It was horrible. I had no reference to what I was listening to. I was just putting beats together because, on the surface, when you first start, anything freaking sounds good. When you start, putting things together, you're like, man, I can do this. Like, this is awesome. Like, I can put a beat together and I can groove to it. Doesn't mean it sounds good, right? So it's really, really interesting, man. I did that. I did the Julius Caesar album, and people loved it. Like I think I have 3 songs on Julius Caesar that are above Supernova, which I released this year, and they've done fantastic. And I guess the story within that is when you're beginning, there's no excuse, man. There's really none. Get whatever materials you can and do the best you can with what you got. That's really what matters. And further down the line, right, it's like, okay, what did I really hate about this album? First thing for Julius Caesar, I hated my vocals. I could not stand my vocals. They were horrible. So I went and did some research, and I looked up some microphones. I got a $700 condenser tube microphone. Boom, checklist. Don't got to worry about that anymore. I got a $700 microphone. Don't need to spend $700 again on anything like that, right? And then I got the microphone. I was recording, and I was like, wow, this is horrible still because I'm using the stupid Dell monitors that I have. So what's the next thing I get? Studio monitors. My friend that recorded Forget in Arizona Sunset on my Spotify has a studio, has a full-blown studio in his basement. His dad was he toured with a bunch of reggae artists and he collected stuff over time. And he had JBL speakers laying around. Gave me them for $200. You steal. So I get that done. I'm like, man, I am so ready to work on the next project. That's where Supernova comes in. I released Supernova probably like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, not that long ago, honestly. And what I took away from that experience was I still hate my vocals. So it's interesting, dude. Like the process is interesting because what you think is going to make you like your music better is not really what's going to happen. You're not going to be ever used to your voice or anything, and like that's you learning as you go. And now I'm at this point where I'm working on the album you've been keeping up with, which is Flavors. It's going to be a mixtape. I have never felt so good about anything in my whole life. This album that's going to release in January is kind of like me realizing my own potential. And that's the full-blown story, man, of why, or like the process of going from nothing to something, right? That is pretty much it.
I love that. And I mean, just to touch on a few things that you just mentioned, I like that you're working, of course, to realize your own potential, but that and that you're slowly accumulating, you're slowly accumulating the equipment, to sustain your career. But I like that even with the lack of it originally, that it didn't stop you from working on stuff, that you were still working on it. It's like, okay, this thing, it just has to get replaced. You're able to save up for it and get it done. And like you're saying, once you do that once, you don't have to do that again. Yeah, knock on wood that the equipment still functions.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's like the saying as old as time: Rome wasn't built in a day. And guess what? When Rome gets built, people are going to look at it and get freaking bored of it. That's exactly what I said, right? Like I got the equipment and I still was not happy with my vocals. You know what I mean? Like it's a huge process that some people do not have the patience for, and I do. So I love music with all my heart. Like you have to realize that sometimes the things that you think are going to get you places are not going to make you feel better about it. You know what I mean? So I think that's like pretty important.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even though up to this point I'd done over 350 total podcasts and everything, I remember back in 2020, 2021, that was just like, my current computer, it's making it impossible to edit. I cannot edit with this. I saved up. I got a new computer. It's just like, now that I can edit, it's like I'm doing it. But, I feel some of the same annoyances that I did when I started. But in the same regard, sometimes you still have to keep working at it. And some of that stuff is just more so us rather than our actual enjoyment. Because, I mean, it's one of those things where, too, it's just like, we like the concept of the final product. But sometimes the road to get there, it's like, we like the concept of it. Maybe not as much the actuality, but we still find enjoyment. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
And I think something that like we could definitely cover is like, you are your biggest critic. like you are completely your biggest critic at anything you do. Not even regarding music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and is there any point in your music, I'm sure that there are, where it's just like, I could have done this better, or I could have done, or I should have done this, or I shouldn't have done this, and then someone else completely has no idea what you're talking about?
Yeah, dude. So, you see, the thing with like music, right, is like, it kind of evolves over time. You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to something once, you're like, oh my God, that sounds freaking awesome. And then you listen to it 50 times, you're like, man, this thing, I do not want to listen to this again. like you do not, right? And then you could, from there, you could not listen to it for months and then come back to it and be like, man, I was a freaking genius. You know what I mean? Like these are the things with music that's so interesting, right? Because it's exactly how the listener is going to engage with your content. If you think about it, right? Okay, I listen to my track 10 times, I get bored of it. What's the person next to me gonna like do? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna do probably the same thing. We're all pretty similar. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, and maybe somebody likes something a little bit more than the other person, right? And those are the people you gotta like find, grab, right? But sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, Being my worst critic, there are, I'll go over a couple examples. So Julius Caesar, again, this is the first album that I made, and I had three really, really good songs on the album, like really pretty solid songs. The title track for that album fucking sucked. It was not a good song. There was something about it that was just off. It was mixed horribly. The vocals are not good. And you know what's funny is like I have a friend that loves that song. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a friend that loves the song, but I hate it. I do not like that song. Moving on to Supernova. Um, Supernova was released not that long ago, so I actually have the criticisms about it are starting to come out now. You know what I mean? Like because I've had time to look at it over time, right? And I made this song called "Back in Time," and it was like this party beat, like just like head bopping song that had some rap, like fast rap in it, and it was really cool. I wish I never put it in the album. I released it as a single, um, and I had a couple other songs that were like party music esque that were supposed to go on the album, but I scrapped them. So that was the only like party song in it, right? And it just kind of threw off the vibe of the album. The album was supposed to be this laid back, like you're chilling and you can like maybe smoke to it or something. I don't know, man. Like you like it's supposed to be very chill like that, right? And it picked up the pace way too much. So those are just like a couple of examples of me doing something. I'm like, wow, I really wish I didn't do that, but like I did, and that's okay. And I think the big thing, like the takeaway from that, is that you're gonna have to do some stuff that you're gonna regret later. Simple. Because if you don't do it, then how are you getting better? You know what I mean? Like that's the moral of the story, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, like I said, understand from, yeah, from that and can relate. Because I mean, with, I remember with starting off with having guests on the podcast. Yeah, it was interesting because I had always recorded by myself, and then now having guests, it introduced a different sort of flow. And I remember, being very critical of episode one, well, the first few, because just like, well, this is weird. It's like I don't have the same flow as when I did this by myself, but I just worked on perfecting my craft and spent all of 2020. I mean, just sort of working towards that, and here we are, in present day, and it's like I can do an episode with a guest like without thinking about it. Like it is a part of me now. Now, don't ask me about doing one by myself again because that feels painful now. But nevertheless, though, I mean, you are what you put into it. And so I think it's so interesting when you think of that evolution. And I liked what you mentioned earlier about that sometimes you have to put a little bit of distance in there because I know for me, especially like when editing stuff, sometimes it's like, I don't know if I really liked how I maybe interviewed this guest, or I feel like my introduction was kind of strange. But then I look back at it, months later, it's like, wow, this is not the way that I remember it, and I'm so glad that I was able to do this. I asked good questions, so yeah. Sometimes it's interesting to put that distance in here, and I like that in a recorded platform, like with doing music and like doing a podcast, for instance, that it saves and preserves what we were doing then, so we can actually see how it was. It's not like a memory where it sort of shifts over time.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, dude, I have. So the big thing that's new for me is I'm doing like mixtape stuff, and I don't know if you know what the difference is, but mixtapes are essentially like you're sampling stuff and you're stealing stuff. Like this album, I could lose the house. Like it's like it. That's kind of like the mentality I'm going in with, right? And you'll go into a sample and you'll pick out the good parts, right? And then you use them. And then guess what? When my musical process, I wish I could show you this. I might be able to, but I see a little share button. But no, I won't do that. Essentially, my process is like I have a sample and I chop it up, right? And I put a drum pattern over it, right? And then anything I don't use, I don't get rid of it. I shift it over to the right and I create distance from it because I want to know when the song ends, right? I want to know the time the song ends. But on the audio file that I download, it's like a 8-minute piece because I didn't get rid of that stuff on the right? So I'll sometimes go back and I'll listen to it and I'll enjoy the pause for a second and then I'll listen to the other part of the sample I did not use at all. And it's like, whoa, man, it was right there in front of me the whole time. I just didn't have the freaking patience to like listen to it all, right? And like, I think like, dude, like you just sometimes have to go back and look at what you're doing 100%.
I mean, that's so true. And I did want to ask, so when did you decide to, let's say, to start sampling, music, especially for, let's say, your upcoming album?
Yeah, so Flavors is the name of the album. It's going to be called the Flavors Mixtape, not just Flavors Mixtape. But so dude, okay. I'm going to need you to pitch in and like just say yes and stuff to me while I say this cuz I want you to agree because I feel like I'm right. So, you're scrolling through TikTok, right? You're scrolling through TikTok. I know you freaking do. I like everybody does. Everybody's on Instagram scrolling through.
At the very least, the Instagram Reels, yeah, that used to be
Yeah.
TikToks.
Mm-hmm. You're scrolling up. You're scrolling up. You're scrolling up. Boom. You hear something. You're like, "What the hell was that magnificent sound that I just heard?" Right? You're like, "Wow, that was beautiful." But like, that's just like a 5-second clip of something that was great, right? And that's not where I'm getting at. I'm not getting at, oh, I want to just use TikTok sounds and blow up on Spotify off of that. No. My point is those songs are professionally recorded. And those songs, most of the time, have had hours of listens and people looking at them. A great example, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Do you know that song?
I might, maybe. I'm
It's
not sure.
Tears and Fears. It's an old like 80s band. You like do 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 do. I can't even do it for you right now. But anyway, I sampled that song. That song is beautiful. I chopped it up, I made it my own thing. What's the first thing that the listeners are going to do when they listen to that song? Is be like, oh shit, it's freaking Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Like it's a connection thing, right? And it's not a business move on me. I did it because I was like, man, I really like this connection to this song, and I feel like I can make it better. And I feel like my inspiration for that was Mac Miller's Kids. That was a mixtape that Mac Miller made in like 2010, and he used like Fireflies, which is a very popular song in the 2000s, and he redid it and he freaking rapped over it, which was gnarly. Nobody ever done that before. You know what I mean? It was like it was this nostalgia beat. It was awesome, and I'm doing the same thing. I am doing the same thing. Nobody can tell you otherwise. I may be using different flavors, right? That's why I named it Flavors. But it's the same thing. It grabs people's attention, and I love listening to an old classic sometimes, but I don't want to listen to the same thing over and over again. Try something new. That's pretty much why I went into the sampling world. Yeah.
That's definitely interesting. Like I said, that you are working to make a new classic, but using like I said, older material, but then making it your own.
Yeah, yeah, and like the thing with like Mac Miller's stuff was like he was using stuff from the 2000s, so he was using the stuff that like he was growing up with, right? I'm using the stuff that I was rooted in, right? Which was the classic rock, right? Which was I have two songs on the album, no, four songs on the album that are full blown classic rock, and they're from like the 70s. I have an Elton John sample, like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it comes from here. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be any other way. It has to be this way because that's how I grew up, man. Like that's the stuff I was listening to every single day, and I feel a strong connection to it. So I use those pieces.
And what does it mean to you that Flavor's mixtape is able to, I mean, to be rooted in your heritage, your upbringing, and and making that personal to you? Like, how does that feel knowing that you get to sort of make your own version of this history now?
I couldn't give a shit how it makes me feel. Straight up, no, like that's not why I do it. I think this is a great point to make. I don't make music for myself. Let's get that out of the way, right? Trust me, if I wanted to do something for myself, you would see me eating Takis in my bed, scrolling on TikTok all day, and being like a bum. Like I literally, if I wanted to do the things that I wanted to do all the time, I would not be where I'm at, right? I do this because for two reasons. I believe that I was put here on Earth to make great contributions to the world. And then second, my great contribution to the world was music, is music, and will be music. I think that I was put here to help people through hard times through music. Because I don't know about you, but personally, the reason why music is so rooted in my heart is because it's gotten me through some of the hardest times of my life. I listen to a lot of Felly. He is a trashy white rapper, like dude from Connecticut, and he is awesome, dude. Like he is the bomb. He got me through so much stuff, and like he doesn't even know me. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know him, but he's helped me through a lot of stuff, right? And that was just through music. So screw my heritage, or I don't care about that crap. I care about how it makes people feel. And this album will make you feel like it will. There is a story behind it. There is emotions entangled with the lyrics, and it's a great piece, man.
Well, I'm glad that you are doing it, like I said, to help others, especially through hard times, as music has helped you, and that you're able to, I mean, continue the cycle of music being an integral part within people's lives, and especially, I think that that downtime, the time of emotions, that time that I feel like that we go to music the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what would you say that for some of your upcoming songs for your album that will, like I said, release this January 2025? Yeah, what would you say that some potential listeners can expect from it?
Oh, all right. So I'm going to tell you something that will get your head straight here. This album is fully unmonetized. It's fully unmonetized. I'm not making anything from it. My goal with this album is literally for personal reasons. My goal for this album is to state my name and be like, yo, this is what I freaking do on a daily basis. And what I guess people can expect from the album is people can expect some 70s freaking rock on that album. People can expect some synths, like some like weekend vibes that's like going into it, right? On one song or two songs. You can expect this kids feeling Mac Miller like beats, like and like it's really a portrayal of Felly and Mac Miller combined into one, right? Like if you were going to compare them to artists, emotionally, I talk a lot about real stuff. I don't like rapping about how many bands I have in my pocket, and I like love like making out with women. Like I am not that type of guy. I literally am when I write my lyrics. They're very emotional, very personal. You get to know me through it, and I get to teach you a lesson. That is like that is the whole point. Every song has a lesson to be learned from it. Every song has um, a climax, and then it also has a like a heartstringy emotion attached to it, whether that be anger, whether that be sadness, whether it be happiness. Um, that's pretty much it, man. That's what people can expect. I can't tell you how it's gonna freaking make you feel. That's more for you, but that's what you can expect from me personally.
I'm glad that you're, like I said, that you're working to, to do this and to get your name out there, and hopefully, so that way, one, as you mentioned before, that you're able to help others through, like I said, through hard times. People get to enjoy your music and your style, but also too, so that way, hopefully, as you continue to progress in music, because as you said, that is your calling, that yeah, that you have a bigger audience, of course, to bring it out to.
Yeah, and like again, like I'm not worried about it being monetized because the whole point is I want to gather an audience, and like I want to show people like, hey, this is the stuff I'm making. Like this is what you're going to expect from me from now on. And I feel like if I do that, I mean, like I can, you know, I think I'm going to have a very close knit fan base that's dedicated to me, and I really would love that. I would really really love some support. It's nice to hear it every once in a while. You know what I mean? I've been doing it long enough where I know I'm there for myself, but I need some people to you know help out a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's my only words on it.
Well, like I said, I definitely am sure that, like I said, that you will, like I said, gain that close knit fan base. And would you have you been able to interact with, with those who have been interested thus far?
Yeah, yeah, I interact with people all the time. So believe it or not, I am addicted to social media. I literally will reach out to the most nichest people ever, and I will like just have a conversation with them straight up. I'm a weirdo. I literally love talking about music to people to the point where it will be annoying. Like I am that type of person where if you say the wrong freaking thing, you could end up in the car with me for 2 hours listening to beats that I've been making. You know what I mean? Like it gets that bad, right? Not with random people on social media, but like with my friends that do listen with my stuff, right? Um, but dude, I love like when I send my song out and I get a text message back and it's like, yo, dude, this is different and this is going to be something. Like I've gotten that multiple times. And not only is it nice to hear, but it also affirms me, right? And it confirms that I am making the right decisions in my musical process. It without that, I would not be here. You know what I mean? Like I've had so much support. Again, I stated I was in a fraternity in college. So a lot of those boys, come and support me. And I have a lot of family that's in music, has musical roots. My uncle, his name is Jimmy Haha, and he's in a very famous like indie rock band. He was actually MTV's first live broadcast. And they've every single one of them have supported me, and I wouldn't be able to do it without 100%. Yeah.
That's amazing, and I'm so glad that you have the support of your family, the support of your friends, the fraternity that you were part of in college. And shifting gears a little bit, so how was your college journey? And congratulations on recently graduating.
I hated it. Thank you for the congratulations, but I freaking hate school, dude. As you can see, I love doing what I'm doing over here. I was a marketing major. I hated every single moment. I actually have like low key trauma in VCU. Lots of bad stuff mentality wise, like happened to me in VCU, and it's just not a good memory, honestly. And yeah, man, that's like college is. I did it to make my father happy. That is the point of college for me. It is that means it does, that I'm not saying it should be the point for you. Do college, do what you want to freaking do. But I have a marketing degree under my belt. I can say that. Whoopee. You know what I mean? Like it can't be a bad thing. So
Well, nevertheless, at least that you are finally done. And so, was it a breath of fresh air knowing that you were finally done, that you finally get to focus fully on your music?
yes, dude. Yes. There was so during college I was in like therapy and all that stuff. Like I had like a psychiatrist and therapist and stuff. I left college. I have not seen my therapist or psychiatrist once for a full year. I have been so stress free, dude. Like ever since I got out of college, like there was just a weight lifted off because it's like I was doing something I didn't love, man. You know what I mean? Like it was like it was like if you were forced to, you know, be a dishwasher for a year. It sucks, dude. Like it really sucks, man. So yes, I am so thankful that I am out of college. And I got the paper to show that I was in college. So
Yeah, and I mean that's like I said, so interesting. Like I said to hear, but I'm so glad that that your enthusiasm, that your livelihood all increased since like I said, leaving college and graduating at that. It's not like you just left midway, and so I guess to sort of flip the question instead of asking about, like I said, your actual college time per se. I said actually wanted to ask: was there any time during that whole experience that you found some enjoyment, even if it's just during the summer breaks, if not, when not taking classes? And since you, and then as I guess as a second part to that is, since you said that you never really cared much for school, so did you go into college anticipating that you were going to hate it, or did you at least have some optimism with that?
well, okay, that's yeah. I mean, I went into college and I was pretty freaking happy, dude. I was living by myself for the first time, right? Um, I was this musician that played way too loud in the dormitory, so I met a lot of people. Like I met some of my greatest friends to this day from me playing guitar, and they opened the door to my room and I'm literally in my undies playing, like sitting there with my guitar, like playing, right? Um, and I met some great freaking people, and they met me, and they, you know, we've been friends ever since, right? I guess like my favorite part through the school years, if I was going to talk about all 4 years, would be like, mm, dude, not gonna lie, there were really good restaurants around Richmond. So anytime I went out to get something to eat, I was having a blast. I actually cook myself, so I love cooking. So yeah, that's another thing I guess you could know about me.
Well, that's great though. That even though the academics may not have, like I said, been in your cards, that you nevertheless able to meet new friends, cook, enjoy the restaurants, and rock on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why educationally like nothing popped out with me to me is because personally I got my best education from my high school. Like hands down. I had the best, like we had the best teachers. I'm dead serious. Loudoun County has the best teachers in America, hands down, hands down. Um, I had this. I had a couple of teachers where they taught me everything I needed to know about life, and they connected life with what they were teaching. And I'm just never going to be connected like that ever again. Like I was taught everything from high school. I went to college. They did not teach me jack. Like I could have learned it myself. Is practically what I'm saying, right? Like it's not like this big secret, right? It that's my personal view on it.
So I guess in shifting gears then to high school. So how was everything with high school and especially with music? And I know that you mentioned at the time too that throughout your life you'd also done like basketball and wrestling. And so how did that all fit in for you?
Yeah, so basketball is something I do now. Wrestling, it was the sport I did in high school. Dude, I was a little bum in my like freshman sophomore year of high school. I was like this little like 5'4" chubby kid, like just walking around doing his own thing, like um, it's like not caring about who liked him and who he liked. He was just being, you know what I mean? Like the most authentic sort of self, right? Um, and my high school, my high school adventure, I would say, was very interesting, man, because high school was filled with really intense moments of joy and really hard times for me. Um, in specific, right, was when I started doing wrestling my junior year of or my sophomore year of high school. I started realizing, hey, like your mediocrity, like, is not going to get you anywhere, and you have all these ambitions, and you say you want to do all these things, and you haven't moved a freaking inch, right? So a big awakening for I in high school, right, and then near the end of high school, I got a little bit of an ego. I did all the things I said I was going to do. I got a little bit of an ego, and I learned that was not my best self. Me being, like this, like sort of fake person near the end of my high school like career was not a happy time. It was not a happy time, and yeah, man. I mean, like I feel like I'm making it making out a lot worse than what it is. But in general, what you're probably hearing and what I'm hearing when I say it is, oh, I went through the average high school experience. Like the little meme on Instagram. It's like fuck around and then find out, and it's like the X and Y like variables. Yeah, that I fucked around and I found out. like that's what everybody does in high school, man. So there's nothing it's nothing special about me in high school, honestly.
Well, nevertheless, though, I'm glad that you at least enjoyed the educators that you had, and that you were living at least, for most of it, your authentic self, for better, for or for worse. And would you say that you've been able to bring back some of that authenticity now that you're done with college?
Oh, dude, I'm the most authentic I've been in a very long time. I think I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life. I'm so much more mature than when I was in high school, and even 2 years ago, honestly, even let's be honest, even 5 months ago, I'm still learning stuff. You know what I mean? Like I am the most mature I'll ever be. That is the present, right? Like yeah, man, I'm incredibly proud of what I am right now, 100%.
Well, that's awesome. And are you able to tell us a little bit about like your life now? And and are you able to tell us like who would you say that you are right now in the present day?
I am a man that wants to be an incredible musician and an incredible artist. Those are two separate things. We can get into that too. That's a really good question, by the way. And I am just here to make everybody else better around me. That's it. What else are we gonna do? We're gonna better ourselves. It doesn't really fucking do anything. like it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, you can be the best at um, construction, but if you're not teaching anybody around you, then how are they going to get as good as you? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. I'm here to change the people around me, and that's why I with that mindset, I'm the most mature I've ever been. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad, like I said, that I mean you're able to share a bit about that and your, like I said, and your mentality, like I said, behind that, and even with, like I said, with teaching others too, is that is just so important because, like you're saying, what's the point of, I mean, having some of this knowledge, having some of, like I said, this advice, if you're just going to keep it for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
The intent, us as humans, is to share it, to make sure that we all get, a part of it, that we're able to help out others, create a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since you mentioned that you've been doing a bit of like basketball, at least here in the present day, so like when did that come about for you?
Oh, dude. Okay. So I brought up that I was like in therapy and psychiatry. I had a psychiatrist and everything. Yeah, I was not well mentally wise for like a while. I think like my sophomore year of high school, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and like I, they put me on a bunch of meds and shit, and they said I had bipolar and all that, and I was like, really, it was really rough for a very long time. And then one day I got invited to the court by some random dude. Like, I was literally in class with this guy, and he was like, "Yo, do you want to hit the court?" And I was like, "I don't really play basketball. Like, I played when I was really young, but like I don't do that." And he's like, "You're coming to the court." And I was like, "Okay." And so I was forced out on the court. Believe it or not, I actually wasn't half bad. I was getting told that like I moved a lot, like Jokic, like, and like the way he's like very slow and he's pivoting a lot, and like you're manipulating people for yourself, to get into a better position. So I found love for that, and basketball got me out of one of the hardest times in my life. Like, it was like the change where it was like I was starting to hit the gym every day, right? So I was doing something physically every single day, and I got out of like my room, and like, dude, let's be honest, dude, music. I love music to death. It's not the healthiest hobby. You're sitting down a lot all day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the most mentally healthy hobby there is. There comes a lot of hardships with being a musician, and you have to acknowledge it, but you also have to find a way around it. And basketball was that one thing that got me out of my head a little bit. So that was the mission for a basketball in my life, honestly.
Wow. And would you say that, like, how often would you say that you partake in it now?
No, I don't. I don't play it at all. I don't even have a court. I can't even go to one. But when I was doing it, I was doing it every day, twice a day. I was going every single day, and I was also playing tennis on the side just for fun.
Wow. And what way would you say that, like, you're able to, I mean, to get that to that sort of state now?
What do you mean?
What do you do in your free time outside of just playing music now?
Yeah. So I only do music. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But I'm serious. A lot of music takes up a lot of my time. When I'm not, I am lifting weights, and I'm in a run club in Ashburn. They're called Nova Run Collective. If you want to tag them or something, but like, they are great. A great community I found through a mutual, and a great thing to do every Thursday and Saturday. I go on a run, and they encouraged me enough to run my first marathon, which was in Richmond, and I completed it in 4 hours and 8 minutes. So yeah, man, like I'm training my body all the time now. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like I could be boxing on next Saturday. I don't freaking know because our club does stuff that's different every single week. So yeah, man, I just stay physically fit. Like I just have to, and it makes you feel good, man. It makes you feel good.
Well, I'm so glad that you're able to, let's say, stay physically fit, and that you're able to. I mean, even though, of course, that music being your passion, it's going to take a lot of time, as with any passion, but music especially. But I'm glad at least that that you have something else that you're able to do, and during your other times, because even though. Of course, that it's important to grow your craft. It's also important to take time for yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those things that I do to take time, like take time for myself, I'll listen to music, like without any like projection of oh that could have been better, like you know what I mean, like incorporating I'll listen to music. I love watching movies. I love like hanging out with my family, and I love hanging out with friends. So it's like I'm just. It's not something to tell you. It's something we just do. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell you every single inch about my life, but like literally, I'm just like everybody else. I love watching Harry Potter during Christmas. Like I am like everybody else, man. Like I swear to God.
Well, that is, like I said, great to hear, and and since we are, in winter by the time that this episode releases, what are your typical like holiday traditions? Like you mentioned that you like watching Harry Potter during the holiday time.
Yeah, dude. I watch Harry Potter, every freaking Harry Potter movie, every single Christmas, like 5 times. Like it is actually ridiculous how much I am in love with that whole movie series. I do that. We put up a tree. We decorate. I go into the attic because my dad's too old now to do it. So I go in the attic and I pull everything fucking down. And I'm in an Italian family. We're Sicilian, so we have lasagna for Christmas. That is our Christmas meal. So if anybody wants lasagna, come to the Strother household.
Yeah, like I said, that's definitely good to know. Like I said, that you are, like I said, engaging in Harry Potter, or taking down the tree, and yeah, I mean that's just like I said, really interesting to know. Are there any other movies that that you like watching during this time?
Elf. Elf is a pretty fire movie. Like there's no series involved. It's just like I can brain rot watch while like eating some like popcorn. like that's another great movie.
And out of curiosity, so yeah, with some of these traditions too, have you been able to put your own spin on some of them?
Oh God, man. Yes, and it's not in a good way. um we definitely smoke a lot of during the holiday season. I have a Snoop Dogg ugly sweater this year, and I will be wearing it during our next session. And yeah, man, it's fucking wild. What's like really funny? Like it's really funny to me. And yeah, I guess that's my spin on the holiday season, honestly. So yeah, man.
But yeah, like I said, but it's so interesting being able to hear from everything from, like I said, from your music to your time like in high school and in college and now. And so I'm so glad that, like I said, that we have this time to to speak. And since you mentioned that with your upcoming album that you are working to, like I said, to grow your audience and to help others monetization free, and anything else that you've been working towards to, like I said, build your audience base, have you been able to get into like further content creation, such as with your social media or like start a YouTube, for instance?
Yeah, man. I have a YouTube. I think I gave you my Instagram link. If you go on my Instagram, there's a link tree to everything I have. So that's the only reason why I sent you the Instagram link, because that's all you need. No, man, I'm really excited for January 15th because that's when Flavors will be releasing. It could be delayed by 2 days. I don't know yet. It's like that little time frame. But there's nothing else. Like I'm working on so many projects. Brendan, you've seen it on my Instagram story. I have like 8 album covers. like I have a lot of stuff on deck. So it would be wrong for me to say that to expect anything more than flavors right now. But yeah, man, that's it. That's really it, honestly.
That's awesome. And yeah, and I did see, of course, on your Instagram that you've been what's it, updating your page like with whether it's various like short videos or like different like photo montages. So are you able to speak a little bit about that? Because I'm definitely intrigued about some the creative process behind that.
Yeah, so I make everything my own. I used to ask people for help for it, and now I do it. Dude, slept on thing, AI art. I use a lot of AI art. You actually probably can't even tell because I make it look so freaking good. So I have Adobe Photoshop, and I also use Canva a lot. And with those two things, I can make any art I really want, honestly. Like, I really can. And the AI tools that they're coming out with on Photoshop and on like Canva and all this stuff, it's just crazy. If you look at the Flavors album, dude, I got a backdrop. I photoshopped me in the freaking backdrop and I put a surfboard in it. And then I carved out some water and then I added my guitar, which is this one. That on Flavors, this guitar is on that album cover. And it's like in a little circle. And then I have and then I pulled some like stupid like meme-ish stuff on it, right? It's so simple. It really is. You just have to commit to doing it and don't feel bad about using some AI here and there. Also, I use CapCut. I don't use anything else. I literally make my videos from a GoPro. I use this little GoPro all the time. I have it with me all the times. And I make little videos, and they're like little vlogs. Like they're not. It's not anything special. It's like a deep dive into my life. It's like, hey, you want to get to know me? Like, watch these, right? Like these. This is where I'm my most authentic self. Because even I actually might be a little bit less authentic in the sense that I'm a little bit more goofy on the vlogs with this thing. So that's how I do it, man. That's how I do it. It's super simple. Super simple.
Okay, first of all, I'm definitely going to have to take a second, look through some of your like album covers with your AI art because that's definitely, is really fascinating what you, have been speaking about, and I like that you've been able to, as you mentioned, use your GoPro, record some videos, edit with CapCut. And what inspired you to start making these videos, and how many would you say that you've made thus far?
I've made 5, and Felly, I'm telling you, man, this guy has a heavy influence on me. He used to make these like little vlogs of him like messing around with this like mini MKP, which is like a little drum kit thing that you have, right? And or MPK, I think is what it's called, not MKP. I don't remember. But he's like hitting it, and he's like, "Yo, that's pretty fire." And then he like switches a camera angle, and then he's like bumping. He's like sitting there, and he's like grooving. And I was like, "Dude, you're just like letting people into the process, and that's so inspiring. It's so natural. It's showing people that you're not faking it. Like this is how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like that's what inspired. Like that's my complete inspiration for those vlogs. 100%.
Well, that's definitely interesting to know, and I'm so glad that you were able to, to have that influence and that's able to help inspire you. And so, if anyone hasn't, checked out your Instagram page, haven't checked out those vlogs, like what should they expect? When they check out like your vlogs, do you have a general style as to how you want to do them?
Yeah, so there's usually always a quote at the end of every single vlog, and it's usually like inspirational, but like also like real. Like it's like, oh, you're dealing with some stuff. I probably will say something that will correlate with you in some way at the end of the vlog. But the whole other part of the vlog is going to be like, jazzy and like very, very chill, lo-fi feeling. And then it's going to be me talking. Like it's just going to be me talking about the thoughts I'm currently having. That's literally it. Just being myself on camera. That's the secret sauce. That's it. Honestly.
Well, like I said, that's definitely very interesting. What's the frequency that you typically go for these videos?
It depends, man. It really freaking depends. Like some weeks I'm burnt out, man. And some weeks I'm not. And some weeks I'm pedaling them out. Like those three, I have 3 vlogs on my Instagram right now, and I pedaled them out in 2 weeks. I haven't released one since. So it's whenever. It's whenever. Honestly, it's not for you. It's like for you, but it's like for me. If you understand what I'm saying, like it's like I believe it or not, I actually hate content creation. Like I hate like posting stuff on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. Like I don't like it because I don't have a lot of creative freedom. I post like one thing. I did a vlog and I've had copyrighted music in it. And I couldn't even freaking post it. Like it's just like it's whenever I want to do it. Truly.
Well, that makes that complete sense, and sort of, and I like that you mentioned that the actually that it's for you like these vlogs, whereas I know for your music you said it's for others.
Yeah, no, the vlogs keep me in check because if I'm not being my authentic self, then like I feel bad, but I know I'm being my authentic self in the vlog. So it's for me. Like it's for me to see how much I'm growing and what I'm saying through these time periods, right? It's for me. The vlogs are for me. The music for you guys, 100%. But like the vlogs are for me, and and in a way, the music is also for me, but it's not. It's all like that is an interchangeable exchange between me and you. The vlogs, I couldn't give a shit if you watched them. I don't care. They're for me. Like you know what I mean. So that's like the goal of them.
I love that. I definitely love that, and as a quick question too, before we begin closing out, since you mentioned, like I said, your authentic self. So, what would you say is are some major parts of your authentic self aside from, of course, the music and the working out as you mentioned?
Oh man. Okay, so being so awesome comes with flaws. So I definitely have like my authentic self is sometimes not the best thing for me. Let's be honest here, okay? I have it like you can look this up. I don't think I have this. Like I'm not diagnosing myself with this, but there's something called a savior complex. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but essentially what a savior complex is like you kind of ignore what you're feeling and you focus on helping others because you wish that when you were in that moment you were helped in that same way. So that's what a savior complex is. I'm very much like that. Like I will have a conversation with you as like for a very very long time as long as I know it's helping you get through something in the moment. Right? That's like that's the type of person I am right now. And in general, like I like being goofy, dude. I like messing around with people a lot too. I get that from my uncle. I used to walk into my house when I was younger, and you know, like the little poppets, like the firework ones, where like you throw them on the ground. Yeah, dude, I would walk through my fucking front door, and he would throw one at me, and scare the living shit out of me because I was like a 8-year-old kid. Anything that is so like goofy to that extent, I will mess around with you. Like I will mess around. It comes from here, right? Like this guy at the bar, literally like a week ago, I was out at the bar. This is not a week ago. This is like a month ago. He was like, he like totally stole I totally stole his chair. And then he came back. I went to go to the bathroom and he came and stole my chair. And I come back and I was like, yo, bro, you stole my chair, you dick. I knew it was his chair. Like I was busting his balls a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I that's the kind of stuff I do. Like I love being goofy. I love caring about people. I love hearing the stuff that you are passionate about because I know I'm just the same way with music, but you are just with something else. You know what I mean? Like I love hearing that shit. So that's the kind of type of person I am right now, and I'm very proud of it, honestly.
Well, I love that, and I love that. Like I said, that you're getting into everything, and that that you like having fun with things, that you like being goofy, and hopefully, and having fun with.
Yeah, no. No, yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Well, awesome. Well, I said, well, this has been such a fun conversation, and I know that we spoke about a lot, but I did want to ask before we begin closing out. Was there anything else that we hadn't had a chance to speak about, or any questions for me? Anything that you want to know before we begin? Go ahead and closing this out.
Yeah, man. So, you guys can reach my Spotify. It's Jeffrey Strother. It's going to be how it's spelled in the bottom left the whole time. And Spotify is the biggest way you can help me out. I'm going to be completely honest. That's the metric I measure by a lot. And just listen to some songs. See if you like them. I'm not going to tell you to go do it. Just go if you feeling adventurous today, man. You feeling? I know how I sound right now. Hey, click the bell notification on the bottom. Like, I know how I sound right now. So if you're feeling adventurous, go check out the Spotify. I do have some really good songs. I'm not going to tell you which one to listen to because that's your own adventure. And I'm so glad whatever one you clicked, whether you hated it or you loved it, you still listened. You know, that's the biggest thing. I'm not going to tell you about any of the projects I'm releasing. January 15th, Flavors. That's the only one I care about right now. We do have 5 other things on deck. I'll just let you guys know that for now. That's it, man. That's pretty much it.
I love that. I love that. And so definitely for those tuning in, make sure to check out Jeffrey's upcoming work. And in the meantime, I know that you said that there's not any songs that you would recommend, but for you, is there one that you much prefer out of what's been already released? I'll just ask that one question before closing.
Yes. Great question. Great question. Julius Caesar. I'm going to give you the rundown. Julius Caesar, Average, and Rat Pillager are probably going to be the 2 best songs on the album. Supernova. It's going to be Supernova, the title track, Disco, and Last Day on Earth. And then Cigarettes on Myself. Great songs. Cigarettes on Myself is a single that I released not that long ago. Great songs. All different vibes, different textures, different flavors. It's all great, man. Those are the stuff. That's the stuff I would recommend you. Honestly. Cigarettes on Myself is a sad song. It is not a happy song. Cigarettes on Myself. You know what I mean? Like it's not a healthy song. It really will get you in your emotions though. So it's like that cruising type music. You know what I mean? It's like, man, like this is just something I can listen to while I'm cruising down the highway. So it's not going to make you like I'm not spitting in the song. I'm singing. So yeah, that's all I can say about Cigarettes on Myself.
Well, that is definitely, like I said, good to know. And so what does it mean for you to, having been on the podcast, spoken about your story extensively and sharing a little bit of some of your favorite music, holiday adventures, and everything in between?
Yeah, dude, Brandon, you're doing a great job, man. Like there is these opportunities to do these podcasts is something I've been waiting for a very long time. I have had this unwavering desire to get my story out, and you guys make it possible. So shout out to the podcast. Keep watching. It's awesome, man. And like, I appreciate everything that was talked about today.
I'm so glad to hear it. And I know that you mentioned, like I said, where to find you, where to follow, where to listen. And so I'm going to allow for you to go ahead and close out this episode, whether it be a life lesson, inspirational thought, piece of advice, whatever the case may be. The floor is all yours. End out episode 101.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I guess I'll steal a little quote that I stole earlier, but it's in one of my vlogs. A candle will never go out if you can light another wick. Okay? That's a great quote. What it means is change someone's life for the better and or even for the worse. Just make a change. Like, because change is the only thing that's going to get us somewhere else, somewhere different, somewhere further. So yes, when your flame is dying out, light someone else's wick. Please do it. It'll make you feel better. Much love.
I love that. I love that. And for those tuning in, thank you so much, as always, for tuning into the Tansson Talks show. I always appreciate your support and continue tuning in every episode as we continue on our mission to bring people together. Let's have a great 2025. I'll see you then. Take care.